So with the rumors surrounding the possibility of a new Ghost Recon game being in active development, I thought it would be a good time to put together a list of the top 5 deal breaker things for the next Ghost Recon game. We've already done the top 10 things that need to be in the next Ghost Recon, so now we're going to be delving deep into the other side of the spectrum with things that would be deal breakers for the next installment of the Ghost Recon franchise. So I will be incorporating my own opinion into this, but I also put up a post over on the community tab on my YouTube channel, as well as a post over on Reddit with the exact question: need you to name a couple of things that would be deal breakers for the next Ghost Recon. For instance, if there was a feature that they put into the game that would make it so that you would not buy the game itself. So combined with the post that I put up on YouTube as well as over on Reddit, we got over 300 responses, and I went through all of these responses over the last day, and we're going to be talking about the top 5 deal breakers that I saw in those responses. Obviously, this isn't a massive sample size compared to the overall Ghost Recon community, but it will definitely give us an idea of the direction that the community wants the next game to go. So with all of that being said, this video is being made to get as much feedback from the community as possible into a condensed video format, so if by chance any of the developers are watching, the voices of the community are being heard. But with that being said, real quick before we hop into things, if you guys go on to enjoy the video, a like rating would be super appreciated. Also, for those of you that may be new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and turn on those post notifications so you do not miss any of my future uploads. We are inching steadily closer to that magic 100,000 subscriber mark, so if you want to stay up to date on all things Ghost Recon, make sure to hit that subscribe button and show your support. Do take note that these are in no particular order, but the first deal breaker mechanic that we cannot see in the next Ghost Recon is gear score and RPG elements. I understand that Ubisoft's bread and butter has sort of shifted towards RPG games, especially with Tom Clancy's The Division and even the Assassin's Creed franchise, but we do not need to see any of those kinds of mechanics in the Ghost Recon franchise. We really need to get back to that nitty-gritty, realistic, third-person squad-based military tactical shooter that the Ghost Recon franchise has been known for. The addition of gear score and other RPG elements in Ghost Recon Breakpoint really did hurt the title, and it wasn't till right towards the end of development of the last DLC did the game actually get to where it should have been at launch. With the addition of the immersive experience as well as Operation Motherland, Ghost Recon Breakpoint really became a pretty decent third-person tactical shooter. We can definitely argue about the squad elements, but that is a topic for another day. But with a future installment of the Ghost Recon franchise on the horizon, the developers cannot afford to put any gear score or RPG mechanics in that game if they want it to have a chance of being a successful title. Moving on to the second deal breaker on today's list, and I was actually surprised on how many times I saw this in the 2 posts that I put up, but the next installment of the Ghost Recon franchise cannot be a first-person game. This was the first thing on a lot of people's lists in those 2 posts that I put up. The Ghost Recon franchise has exclusively been a third-person game depending on what platform you played on since the release of Ghost Recon 2 back in 2004. With Ghost Recon Wildlands and Ghost Recon Breakpoint going to that open-world style game while retaining that third person was an absolutely fantastic design choice, and we even got the icing on the cake with the ability to aim down sight in first person as well. The broad next step for the franchise would be to have the ability to switch between first person and third person whenever you want. There are a number of other titles that do this extremely well, including the highly anticipated Starfield that is going to be releasing in a couple of days. Being able to build a game out to take full advantage of the first person and third person perspectives is key for a successful next installment of the Ghost Recon franchise. There are a number of people out there that prefer first-person games and vice versa with third-person games, and if there was a way that they could implement both perspectives, this would be the best of both worlds and attract a massive player base from both of those styles of games. With the overwhelming backlash of Ghost Recon Frontline, I don't think Ubisoft would take the chance of repeating that in any way, shape, or form, but I had to put this on the list because of the massive amount of people that were commenting it on those 2 posts. Moving on to number 3 on our list today deals directly with the character customization and gunsmith. I felt as if this needed to be combined into one thing because it was an extremely broad subject, but it all kind of ties in together with the customization in the game. So with the next iteration of the Ghost Recon franchise, we need to have a proper gunsmith with proper accessories and attachments for all of the weapons. This includes having the proper caliber for each weapon along with the ballistics as well. No more having SMG ammo that covers all of the SMGs. We need to have proper calibers for all weapons similar to other military tactical shooters. We also need to have the ability to put multiple optics and rail attachments on our weapons like you would be able to do in real life. Having the weapons be modeled after their real-life counterparts would also be a nice touch. I hate to make any comparisons to Call of Duty, but the way the gunsmith works in Call of Duty nowadays is a step up and above from what the Ghost Recon franchise has done in the last 2 iterations of the gunsmith. We need full proper weapon customization with the ability to put ghillie wraps, paracord, and other customization on our weapons as well. Also, when it comes to the character customization, we need to see it expanded upon even more from Ghost Recon Breakpoint. We need to have proper military apparel from head to toe that is fully customizable. Being that the game needs to have a third-person perspective, seeing your character is extremely important, and being able to kit them out exactly the way you want is just as important as well. Being able to modify your backpack, your chest rig, helmets, and more, similar to how you can in Ground Branch, would be a huge step in the right direction for the character customization in the next Ghost Recon. Now moving on to number 4, this is going to be a little bit vague because this is another topic that could definitely be extremely broad. So with that being said, having an empty world is an absolute deal breaker for the next installment of the Ghost Recon franchise. Ghost Recon Breakpoint's world was not alive, and no matter what the storyline was about, there is no excuse for having a world that has nothing going on in it, especially coming off of Ghost Recon Wildlands that had one of the best living open worlds of any Ubisoft title. We need a living, breathing, NPC-filled open world with tons of missions and tons of things to do when we're not doing missions. And I'm not talking about exploring, looking for random crates that have different weapon loadouts and stuff in them. I want to have actual tactics that matter in the world for the next Ghost Recon. Basically an Operation Motherland 2.0 to where what you actually did in the world matters and influences the things that happen inside of it. Having to go and recon an area to get information on a lieutenant that could lead you to another mission or something along those lines is definitely a key mechanic. To go along with a living, breathing open world, we need to have proper biomes similar to how we had with the Bolivia map in Ghost Recon Wildlands. The biomes in that game were extremely diverse, but they also blended together extremely well, which definitely helped with the immersion. That map was crafted so well, I just find it hard to believe that the same dev team made the Breakpoint map as well. Also, it didn't deserve its own topic, but I wanted to put it in here before we moved on that we cannot have any futuristic cyborg drones like we had in Breakpoint. The next game needs to be grounded in reality or even set slightly in the past to maintain that grounded tactical military experience. Now moving on to the last and final deal breaker mechanic for today's video. This one I saw so many times that it could not be ignored in this list. There are definitely other deal breaker mechanics other than these 5, but to make this video short and sweet, we're going to keep it to just the top 5 for now, but please make sure to comment down below if there is a deal breaker mechanic that you do not want to see in the next game that didn't make today's list. So the final deal breaker mechanic for the next Ghost Recon game is always having to have an online internet connection to play the game. I cannot tell you how many times I saw people saying that the game cannot require you to have a constant internet connection to play. Part of this was the shared progression across the PvE and PvP modes in Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which to be honest could definitely be a simple fix. If there are different modes in the next game, they need to have their own progression that is separate from each other. If there's someone out there that just wants to play through the campaign or play single player by themselves, there should be no need to have a constant internet connection to play the game. Wildlands was a perfect example of this, and there was no reason whatsoever to change that going into Ghost Recon Breakpoint. There are a number of people throughout the world that might not have a stable internet connection or an internet connection at all, as crazy as that may sound. They should be allowed to play the game as well, so there needs to be a way to play the game offline even if it's just the single player. That would be a huge step in the right direction for the next installment of the Ghost Recon franchise. But with that being said, that is where I'm going to be wrapping up today's video. Let me know your thoughts on all of this down below. Do you agree with this list? Are any of these or all of these deal breakers for you for the next installment of the Ghost Recon franchise? Are there other deal breakers that were not mentioned here in today's video? Let me know all of those thoughts down below. But like I said, that is all for the video. If you guys enjoyed it, you are excited about the possibility of a new Ghost Recon game being in active development, make sure to drop a like on the video and also subscribe if you are new to stay up to date on all content surrounding the Ghost Recon franchise here on the channel moving forward. But that is all for now. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.